I got a question. Are you familiar with the 60s? KG, y'all familiar with what happened with the 60s, the history?
Yeah.
It was called, you familiar with it? All right, so it's called the turbulent 60s. A lot going on, a lot of racial tensions and so forth and so on. Now, my question is, you heard of the Black Panthers? Everybody heard of it. Everybody know about the Black Panthers. What was their cause? Why did they rise up? Why did the Black Panthers rise up?
For rights.
What was the purpose of them grabbing arms and taking arms up to defend their...
Oh, not getting tired of the abuse.
The abuse from who?
Americans.
From the white man.
Yeah.
Come on, help me out. Say it.
I say American.
Hey, let me ask KG. KJ.
I'm in the middle with every race.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool. K, who they taking? Who was oppressing us at that time during the city? Why do you have so many Malcolm X? Why do you have Martin Luther King? You Stokely Carmichael, Fred Hampton, the Black Panther movement, Huey P. Newman. Why did they rise up? What was the purpose?
For the equal rights.
Okay, but they rose up so they being oppressed. Who they being oppressed by? Who was the enemy at that time? Because there wasn't too much of Chinese running around at that time. There wasn't too much of Arabs at that time. Who was there? Who were we fighting against? Yeah, the whites, right? So my thing is, when he read that, read that again.
Zephaniah.
Yeah, Zephaniah 2.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Read.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desire.
The point I'm trying to make in during that time period, that was a time period where we started gathering ourselves together.
Right.
As a nation. Because not only the Black Panthers rose up, help me out. My man, what's your name?
Antonio.
Antonio, who else rose up after the Black Panthers? You say you're familiar with the history. Because the Black Panthers was the Black Americans, tribe of Judah. Who else came up at that time that was being oppressed?
Remind me.
Young Lords. Who's the Young Lords? You heard of Young Lords, right? See, the Young Lords rose up. See, the American blacks, we popped it off. We started it off, but then came the Young Lords. That was the tribe. That was the so-called Puerto Ricans. They came to, from the Bronx. Yeah, they came up from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they rose up? Help me out. Why they rose up?
Right.
They were being oppressed. Okay, so letting you know we was a nation at that time not desired as a nation, blacks and Hispanics. You had the Latin, you had the brown berets.
Yeah.
You had the AIM, the American Indian movement.
Yeah.
Why was all these so-called minorities rising up at that time? Because we felt oppression. Read that again.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desire.
Now, my question is, has anything changed since then? Has anything changed?
Nah, everything's the
So,
same.
meaning from the 60s on up, everything's still the same. We still get shot down by the cops.
Even before the 60s.
Right?
The-
Yes.
The change is the dollar bill. That's what you were saying. Why we can't save money and do more, because everything's designed.
We being cut down.
Financial matrix, it's called.
Right. Go back to Deuteronomy real quick. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and that children should be taken captive. Read that.
Verse 41.
Matter of fact, go to the field.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And cursed shall thou be in the field, meaning what? We would be picking, during slavery, we were the ones that was cursed in the field. Okay, like we were picking cotton. Over here in the United States, we're picking cotton, indigo, tobacco, rice. Now, when you look at our Latin brothers in Puerto Rico and so forth, it was what? The sugar cane and all that. So we was cursed people in the field. Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Uh-huh.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Jump to, what I want?
Verse 41.
No, 32.
Verse 32.
Read that.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long.
KJ, I know you're getting your cut. Help me out. Who that happened to? Read it again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people,
thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people. That another people go to another nation. Go ahead.
And thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the day long.
Where does that say captivity? Read verse 41.
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters,
So you will have sons and daughters. Go ahead.
but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Right. Why?
For they shall go into captivity.
When did that happen? When did that happen? When did our sons and daughters go into captivity? When was our sons and daughters taken away from us as a people? When did that happen? My man, Antonio, when that happened?
I don't know.
Slavery.
Right before me.
Slavery.
I mean, before me, so.
Yeah, no, but it's history.
Yes,
Even
yes.
though it's before you,
Oh,
it's
definitely.
way before me, but it's
Definitely
history.
slavery.
Right, slavery.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's still happening today. What they got as far as the Latin was it ICE? ICE and they still taking the children. The borders and so forth, it's still happening today. Nothing has changed. This is biblical.
Yeah, I forgot what they call that when they sack, traffic, children.
Human trafficking. Same thing, still going on. They still taking our children in captivity. All right, putting them in cages, training camps. I heard they not even, and this is our Latin brothers, Hispanic brothers. I heard they not even getting, they won't even let them see their family. Concentration camps. So even though that happened during slavery, it's still, the curse still following us today. All right. Even I'm gonna bring it up to today as far as like even if you try to discipline your child, what happens? What happens when you try to discipline your kid? Who's coming?
Somebody.
Child Protective Service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Or yeah, I forgot the acronym, but it's still happening today. All right. Read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 41.
And then jump to 68 after that. Just straight to the point.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters,
Read.
but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
But they should go in. Now get Deuteronomy 28 and 60.
Verse 68.
Listen good.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now Egypt is synonymous with bondage. Egypt is synonymous with slavery. Y'all familiar with the Israelites? You familiar with Moses bringing the Israelites out of Egypt, right?
Yes.
Okay. So read on. Go, get the precept.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Right. Out of Egypt just means bondage. Egypt just means slavery. That's it. Go ahead. Nothing more, nothing less.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Who did that happen to? KG, who that happened to? Come on, man. Help me out.
Blacks.
Blacks. And who? Not only blacks, who else?
Blacks, Hispanics.
Blacks and Hispanics. Now, much as Hispanics like to say, yo, we never been on those slave ships. Who did Columbus take on slave ships back to Spain? Hispanics. This is our history. This is prophecy. Thousands of years ago, this happened to us, man. Read it again. Bring it on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So God said, listen, the way it's said here, that's the way it's going to happen. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read. Meaning what? Our homeland. Our homeland is in northeast Africa. All right? Jerusalem, northeast Africa. All right? The land of Israel. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So once we docked off those slave ships, we were sold to our enemies. Whether it was in, when they brought us back to Spain, okay? The Caribbeans, all right? Whether Charleston, South Carolina, Rochester, New York, okay? The slave ship docked off at on Wall Street. They docked off over in Wall Street.
Plymouth Rock.
All right, Plymouth Rock, okay? Philadelphia, Jersey, all right? So once we came off those slave ships, we was being auctioned off. Right, we was put on auction blocks and they was bidding for us, sold us, right? Go ahead, read it again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who are your enemies? God said there you should be sold to your enemies. Antonio, who's our enemies? That God sold us to. So first off, we got to acknowledge that God is the one that put us in this situation because we broke his law when we was 15.
Oh yeah.
So that's why we're in the situation we're in right now. That's why our condition is so bad, because we continue to break the law, right? So now we begin from the top.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Oh, we skipped 48. How we skip that? Jump to 48 real quick. How we skip that?
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
God says, listen, because you broke my laws, you will serve your seed. We don't want to see it. We don't want to believe it. We don't want to accept it, but we have enemies. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
God sent our enemies against us. Antonio, who came over here to conquer us? Who came over here to conquer the Puerto Ricans? Who came over to conquer the Mexicans? Who came over here to conquer the Panamanians? Who came over here to conquer the Dominicans? Who was that?
Americans?
Okay, help me out. Who was
I
that?
mean,
Columbus.
alright.
Columbus, you had Pizarro. I'm just naming some
Mark-
conquistadors.
Marco Polo? Was he one of them? I don't know.
No, you had Pizarro, you had
Cortez.
Hernandez, Cortez.
Ponce
These
de
are some
Leon.
conquistadors,
I
Ponce
know
de
those
Leon.
two.
Yeah. Right,
I'm
so
not good with all the.
right, no, I understand that. That's why we here. So what I'm showing you that the conquistadors, they're the ones that came over here. Everybody thought Columbus was coming over here to discover America. No, Columbus knew we was already on this side. Columbus knew that the so-called Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, the Panamanians, okay, the Cubans, the Brazilians, we was already on this side. The American Indians already on this side of the world. Columbus knew that. He called y'all Tainos, okay, which means peaceable ones. That's what he named y'all. But he came over here to do what? Conquer, rape, rob, and pillage. Read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 48.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger.
So we will serve our enemies in hunger. We don't own. Do we own any grocery stores around here? Any food marts, anything like that? As a nation of people,
Nah, everything's pretty,
we don't own nothing. Oh wait, I'm like, hold on. Let's see what you
nah,
about to say.
everything's pretty big corporations. Ain't
Right,
like
you
no
don't
small
own
and
it.
pop.
As far as you look at our people, blacks and Hispanics, we don't own any of that, right? Read.
In hunger.
In
and,
hunger.
and in thirst.
And in thirst. Water pretty much covers the earth. But guess what? We got to pay for water now. Now, over in Puerto Rico is an island surrounded by water. But now in Puerto Rico, I bet you got to buy your Dasani.
Yeah.
You can't just go over there and get water no more. You got to get your Dasani. You got to get your Poland Springs, your Deer Park. We don't own any of that stuff, right? Go ahead.
And in thirst.
And in thirst, go ahead.
And in nakedness.
The clothes on our very backs. The clothes on our very back. We don't have any textile companies. Even when we did, they fell apart. We had what? Sean John, Inichi, and all that. They all fell apart, man. So we don't own any of these things, right? Go ahead.
And in want of all things.
And when you look on the back of your tag, it says what? Made in what?
China.
Made in China, made in India, made in the U.S., Korea, Taiwan. Go ahead, read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now your enemy, God said, look, your enemy is going to put a yoke of iron upon your neck. KG, who that happened to? Who had yokes of iron on their necks? Yo, it ain't hard to see, man. That was us. Blacks and Hispanics, we had the yokes of iron upon our necks. We was the ones taking on the shade ship. This is Bible prophecy, man. Bible prophecy. All right? That's it on that?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Right. So now we've been destroyed as a people. After 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation, when they so-called freed us, because you're not free, you're still in captivity, we've been destroyed as a people to the point we don't even know who our enemy is. I'm going to ask y'all now, who's your enemy? After reading that, who's your enemy?
I look at things differently, man.
See what I'm saying? KG, after you just read all of that, who is God saying your enemy is?
Saying the enemy Caucasian.
There you go. They the one, look, it's history. It's not nothing, well, I'm going to look at it, I can't look at it. It's just history. It's facts. That's what I'm saying. Now we as a people, we failed to realize, like, yo, we have an enemy in front of us. And they showing you every day when they shoot us down the streets. They setting up new laws against us.
Vaccine, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, all of a sudden the vaccine is targeting us now. It started off in China, like, nah, focus on the blacks and Hispanics.
I heard there's a new one.
There's a new variant coming out. It's out. It's the Delta joint. Delta variant. It's out.
Yeah, they say it's in the Finger Lake regions, not too far from there.
Yeah, man. So, letting you know, look, they targeting, we have enemies. We are not desired as a people. All right?
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.